Okay, hello. Welcome to this demo on Amazon ECS, Elastic Container Service using Fargate service. I'll be deploying my sample application on Elastic Container Service, and these are the steps I'm going to follow. I will create a virtual private cloud with two subnet. Then I'll create the application load balancer with HTTP listener, which I'll be using for my application, containerized application. After that, I'll create ECS cluster, and within that ECS cluster, after creating ECS cluster, of course, I'll be creating a task definition and a service. Then I will launch those tasks, or I will create a task from task definition. Service will be mapped to those tasks, and I will also set application load balancer to connect with those tasks or connect with this service. And then once everything is done, I'll show you how I can access my application using the load balancer's DNS. So let's get started. You need an AWS subscription to get started with this. This is my AWS account. Uh, Once you log in into your AWS account, just go to the home page and search for virtual private cloud first. Just type VPC. Here it is. I'll be creating a virtual private cloud here. There might be some default cloud already present, but I'll create a new one. Launch a VPC wizard. I'll be creating a new virtual private cloud, and I'll be creating a public subnet for that. Select. You can provide whatever IP address range you need to provide. Like for example, I can provide IP address range 10.0.0/16. That will give me 65,000 IP addresses. VPC name I want to give here is, let's say, ECS VPC. You can give whatever name you want, by the way. And public subnet I'm going to create here is this. Availability zone I'm going to choose here is A1 availability zone, and let me call it subnet 1. I can add additional subnet later on. Don't worry about that. So this will create the VPC now. Let's see. This is a public VPC that I have created now, and let's see. This is my VPC with name ECS VPC, and what I'm planning to do now is I'm going to edit this VPC. This is my VPC, and it has route table. It's not a default VPC as of now. DNS resolution is enabled for it. These are the CIDR blocks for it. Fine. Everything looks just fine. What we will do is we will create a subnet, an additional subnet inside it. By default, only one subnet was created, subnet 1, and I'm planning to create one more now. So let's create a subnet, subnet 2, and it is going to be under this VPC, ECS VPC. Availability zone, I'm going to choose the other zone now. For first subnet, I have selected this. Second subnet, I want to be deployed in second zone. And IPVR, the subnet range that I'm going to provide now this time is 10.0.20/24. So this would have approximately some 200 host. Let's create. So additional subnet has been created. Now my VPC has two subnet. You will notice one thing. Subnet 1 has IP address range 10.0.0/24. Subnet 2 has 10.0.20/24. So two subnets I have. So I have completed this task, creating VPC with two subnet. What I need to do next is create the application load balancer with HTTP listener. And for that, what I'm planning to do is I'll just go back to my I'll just go back to the AWS homepage, and I'll search for EC2. Load balancer is available under EC2 dashboard. So under EC2 dashboard, what I'm planning to do now is I'll just go to load balancers here, and I'll create a new application load balancer here. Create a load balancer. I want a load balancer for HTTP, application load balancer. Let's give it a name. Let's say ECS LB. I want this to be internet facing load balancer with IPv4 type, and I want to enable only HTTP protocol for this. I do not want any kind of AWS Global Accelerator right now. Global Accelerator actually creates some kind of, what we call it, uh, some kind of static IP to accelerate the overall operations. Anyways, one more thing is required, availability zone. You will notice one thing, that you will have to choose a virtual private cloud here that I have created just recently, ECS VPC, and I'll have to select those two availability zones. Creating two subnet in two different availability zone is basically to improve the availability of my application. So even if one availability zone is down, my application would be still accessible from the other availability zone. I'll be deploying my two instances actually for my containerized application. So selected that. There is no internet gateway attached to subnet that you have selected. 67938. 67938. Subnet 2 doesn't have internet gateway. Looks like there is a problem with internet gateway part. What I'll do is I'll just fix it later on. I have selected the subnets anyways. Accelerator is not required. Let's do the configuration part. I will get a warning over there saying that load balancer security, for securing load balancer, you should use HTTPS with TLS security. I'm going to ignore that right now. Okay. And it will create a new security group. Either you create a new security group or you can just use the existing one, whichever is available there. I'll just call it as ECS SG for load balance, sorry, for security group. And we will be adding a TCP rule. Uh, yeah, we'll be adding a TCP rule for port 80 from any source. Configure the routing, task group. We will create a new target group, and target group is, let's say, called GRP1. It is based on IP address and for protocol HTTP. Okay. So by the way, this is going to be connected to the IP address of our ECS task later on. Register the targets. Right now, we are not providing any IP address range that will, make it accessible to all the IP addresses, whatever are available in the target group. Finally, this is time to review everything. It gives you a last chance to, make changes if required, if any changes are required. We are going to make some changes to this subnet anyways. This looks like this is a private subnet that has got created. It doesn't have any internet gateway right now. So we will fix that. Just give me a minute. Yeah, load balancer created successfully. Uh, Fortunately, there is a problem here. We will have to fix our VPN, VPC, sorry. So in VPC, I'll just again go back to that subnet once again. This is my subnet. And okay, we have got two subnets here, subnet 1 and subnet 2. Subnet 1 has the internet facing, subnet 1 has all this. Subnet 2, I need to have that internet gateway. Let's see. Auto assign custom own, no. Auto assign public IP address, no. Available IP address, pull this. Network ACL. And this subnet 1 description is this, available. Okay. I can see here in subnet 1 there is, in route table there is a link attached to internet gateway. I'll do one thing, I'll just try the same thing with subnet 2 as well. Edit route table association, and here we will also connect this. with this route table. This is actually the route table that got created for subnet 1, and okay, if I connect to this, the IP address range used here is different. I'll do one thing, I'll just edit this route table instead. This is a route table created for my second subnet, which doesn't unfortunately have the internet gateway attached to it. So what I will do is I will add internet gateway here in those routes. This one has internet gateway. This one has internet gateway. This one has internet gateway. This one doesn't have internet gateway. Looks like IP address ranges and everything else is same. Okay, let's go back to subnet. And for subnet 2, I will use the same route. Edit route association. And let's use the other one. This one, which has internet gateway assigned. Save. Okay. Now both the subnets are public subnet, public internet facing subnet. Okay. Let's go back to the load balancer now. I'll just go back to the load balancer where it is. I'll have to search for EC2 again. For EC2, for EC2 now I'll go and check my load balancer. That's my load balancer. It's just loading. That's my load balancer, and you will see your load balancer is already given a DNS name. I'll just copy this DNS name and keep it somewhere here so that I can use it out later. I'll use it later. Load balancer has this DNS that I'll be using later on. Fine, now it's time to create the ECS cluster. So I'll again go back to the home page. You can use this AWS icon to quickly go back to console home and then search for ECS. Once you are in ECS, once you start into ECS, you will have to first create a cluster. Let's create a cluster. I'm creating a Fargate cluster where you just need to create a network and don't have to create any EC2 instance. It doesn't use any EC2 instance. Cluster name, I'll just call it as ECS1. Do we want to create a VPC for this? Now I'm not creating a new VPC for this cluster. I'll be attaching an existing VPC for this cluster. Okay, I'm not creating a new one. So this is ECS cluster I'm creating right now, and create. That's my ECS cluster that got created now. Let's view the cluster. Inside this cluster now we will have to create the required mapping. I'll do it. We'll create the task group first. This is my ECS1, status is active. Let's create the new run task. I'm going to deploy Fargate. We are going to create a, wait a second, I'm at the wrong place actually. You will have to create a task definition first. The other screen was running a task definition. You will have to create a task definition, Fargate task, and we need to provide a definition value. So let's say definition 1. Role value is ECS task execution role. Now please remember one thing. If it is your first time creating an ECS cluster, there won't be ECS task execution role available to you. It gets created when the first time you create ECS cluster. If you have already deployed at least one ECS cluster in past, you will get this option. Otherwise, there would be only none. Don't worry about that. You can keep it none. After it is created, it will automatically assign this task role to it. So, simple point, if it is available, select it. If it is not available, leave it to none. No issues. Then we will have to we will have to select the role again here, and you can allocate amount of memory you want. Like for example, I want to allocate 0.5 GB RAM and 0.25 CPU. Let's add a container here. For container, you just have to select your own existing application image. So what I'll do is I'll choose my application, which is here, Mahindra Shinde MyWeb. You can also provide soft limit of memory, like for example, I want my individual container to be given only 128 megabyte of memory. Okay, so it is as like out of 512 MB memory available to this task, container will be using just 128. Okay, and let's do the create. So definition one has been created now. You can see this definition if you just click on this view task definition command button. This is the task definition which is already ready now. Task definition is now ready. You can now go to the action, and if you want, you can create a service for it and you can create a task for it. So let's create a service first. I'm again selecting the same Fargate service now. Definition is definition one, and a service name we are going to use it, let's say service one. Number of tasks I want to run are 2 tasks from definition one. Rest everything we will just keep it as it is. Then before you create a service, you need to provide the cluster VPC. Now, at the time of creating the cluster, we did not create a new VPC cluster, a VPC. So we will have to choose it now. So make sure that you select right VPC. You can see here the VPC that I have created specially for this purpose has a tag ECS VPC. You can see it in the screenshot, in the screen tip here. You will have to choose the subnet. In order to provide maximum availability, I have chosen 2 subnet. Okay. And my both the subnets are using different region. You will notice one thing, subnet 1 is in AP South 1A and subnet 2 is AP South 1B. So that it will ensure the application is highly available, kind of. It will also create a security group automatically for us. You can see this security group got created. If you click on the edit button, you can instead provide the existing security group, okay, or create a new one. Let's keep create new one. The security group will simply allow from anywhere port 80 to be accessed. That's it. There was actually no need to even click the edit button. You can just keep it. Auto assign public IP. Do you want the public IP for this particular service? And yes, we need IP address for this service. But again, please remember, it's up to you whether you want the IP address to be enabled or not. Anyways, we will be actually using load balancer's IP address to connect to our service. Let's keep this IP address enabled. Now it requires a load balancer. We will choose here, we need application load balancer here. Wait a second, why it's not available here? You selected task definition does not contain any exposed port. Only task definition with exposed port can be created, configured to use load balancer. Okay, fine. I'll do one thing. I did a small mistake in my task definition. There was a port mapping required. I'll do one thing. I'll just open this in a separate window. You can just control click on this icon and it will take you to the another window. And I'll now go for Elastic Container Service. From Elastic Container Service, let's go to the cluster and then task definition. This was my task definition. And for my task definition, now task definitions are mutable. Once you, create a task definition, you cannot edit it. If you want to edit it, you will have to always create a new revision of that task definition. So I'm now creating a second revision of the task definition. All the other values will be same. Only thing that I missed was here I need to provide the port mapping. Port that I need to map is port 80, which need to be explicitly specified and create. This is now revision 2 that I have created, def 1 revision 2. That's it. I can now attach it in here. What I just have to do is I just have to go back to the previous step, and here let me choose revision 2 instead of revision 1. Wait a second, why it's not showing that revision 1 number? Let me reload it. Let's see if the revision 2 is available here. Looks like I have to create the new service. Okay, let's create a new service. It didn't allow me to actually make changes to that service definition. No issues. I'll create the service again. Fargate service. You can see here by default I want to use revision 2. Cluster name, service name, let's say service 1. Number of tasks I want to run are 2. Rolling update. Then Here I'll select the VPC. Subnet, I will select two subnets. Public IP is enabled. Application load balancer I'm going to use. And right now I have got only one load balancer, but in case if you have multiple load balancers, you can choose the right one from the list. Container name port, container is named app, container port is 80, and load balancer, it will map it to port 80 again for the load balancer. And we will now click next. Wait a second, looks like there is some problem in here. Add to load balancer, HTTP, target group GRP1. Okay, this is the setting that we are doing here. Fine. Do not adjust service count, or you can set it to auto scale. Right now I don't want auto scale right now. I'll just keep it to desired count. Everything is okay now. You can see the final review here. It is ECS1 is the cluster name, launch type is Fargate, task definition, definition 1, version 2, service name, replica type service. Everything is ready now. Create it. You will see here it will first create the security group, it will set the inbound rule, and then finally a service got created. And you can see the service here. SRV1 is my service. Service is active. It has 2 desired count. Pending is 2. And it has launched these 2 services, these 2 instances now. Both of them are currently in provisioning state. I'll just click the refresh button here. Okay, now they are finally running. All my containers are running. You will see pending count is 0, running count is 2, and desired count is 2. That's good, that's great. It's now time to check the load balancer. Remember, we have captured the load balancer DNS here. Now it is time to try this load balancer DNS here. I'll press enter, and you will see this is my application. Now when I run this application, or when I visit this URL for the first time, it's saying container IP address is 10.0.0.57. Let me show you something interesting in here. There are 2 instances, right? And if I open the first one, the first task, and if I scroll down, the first one has private IP address 10.0.2.66, okay? And second one has private IP address 057. That means it has been served by the second instance. If you refresh, there are chances that IP address will change. Like this request is served by 10.0.2.66. That means it will actually implement round robin, and some of the request will be served by instance 1, some of the request will be served by instance 2. Is that clear? And guess what? You can scale them as well quite easily. Like for example, this is your service, right? This is your cluster, and this is your service. Just go back to your service. This is the service, and we will just, kind of make some changes to it. Service 1, and let's do a small update to this service. Everything will be same, like task definition. I don't want to change that right now. What I just want to do is I want to change the number of replicas. What if I want 3 replicas? Next, 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 and update. Service is getting updated now, and you will notice now, other than 57 and 2.66, very soon there will be one more third IP address will be accessible to me. Okay, it's not deployed, I guess. Let's go back to the service and see how many instances are there. Looks like desired count is 3, pending is 0, running is still 2. Running count is still 2. Okay, pending is now 1. Okay, it's deploying the new one right now. And let's see now. 57 is 1, 2.66. 57, 2.66. One more item I want here. Let's wait for some time. This was my service. Okay. I can see now pending is 0, desired and running are 3 instances. Let's see that now. 57, 2.66. 57, 2.66, 0.201. You can see there is a new instance added now, which is 201. So now your request will be served by any of these three instances randomly. Okay, that's it. That is about ECS with Farragut. Now, the cleanup operation, if you want to perform a cleanup operation, what you should do is delete the service definition and load balancer that you have defined for it. So just delete the service, okay? Then delete the task definition as well. Now this is the task definition which I'm planning to delete now. So let's go to the task definition. These were the two definitions that I want to delete. Deregister, deregister. Okay, so task definitions are deregistered now, and once they are deregistered, and you will have to just wait for the running task to, the count should be now to 0. There are still 3 tasks running over there. I can do one thing, I can manually stop them, by the way. They are all inactive. I'll just go and manually stop them now. Stop all those instances. Now there are no tasks running. Now my cluster is ready to be deleted. Just go and delete the cluster. Confirm using delete me. That's not over. You will have to also delete your application load balancer, and you will have to delete your VPC as well. Okay, and then finally all resources will be cleaned up. So what you do now is you can just now go back to the AWS console, go to the EC2 console, and delete the load balancer from here. So I'll go to the load balancer and I'll just delete it from here now. Delete. Okay. Now there is no more load balancer over there. I'll also go and delete my VPC now. And in order to do that, again console home, VPC, and from VPC I'm going to now delete that virtual private cloud that I created just a couple of minutes back. So here I'll just delete this one. Delete VPC. And that's done. Okay. Thank you for watching my video.